The way a class feels in an MMORPG is incredibly important, especially if it's going to be your main. If you're considering devoting countless hours into learning, mastering, and gearing a particular class, it'd be a good idea to make sure the gameplay loop you'll be repeating feels good. Furthermore, it's important that its performance is on par with its feeling. Final Fantasy XIV's Stormblood expansion and the 4.0 update brought with it several changes to the game's jobs. Today, we're going to talk about the new Machinist skills, how the job feels, and how it performs. The biggest change to the Machinist was the addition of a heat mechanic that is now integral to the way the class plays. When you attach your Gauss barrel, your weapon skills and abilities either generate or reduce your current heat. If your heat reaches 100, your barrel will overheat, and your attacks will deal an additional 10% damage for 10 seconds. Unfortunately, after that buff wears off, your Gauss barrel will be deactivated for 10 seconds. As you're leveling up, this mechanic is somewhat empty, but once you hit level 70, the kit becomes fleshed out and maintaining your gun's temperature becomes an interesting challenge amidst the chaos of battle. The downside to this well-designed mechanic is that it doesn't work the way it was intended. Overheating your gun for an extra 10% damage for 10 seconds doesn't net you anything if whatever you're fighting lives after those 10 seconds are up. With the temporary removal of Gauss Barrel, number 1, you no longer have access to your full list of skills, which we'll talk about soon. Number 2, once you reattach your barrel, if you don't have the right cooldowns available, you'll be stuck shooting a pea shooter at a giant monster, and peas don't do much damage to giant monsters. They might even make them stronger. The final downside to overheating is that your ammunition, a core mechanic of the Machinist that survived the overhaul, is used to increase your damage and also keep your heat low, not build it up. So if you're stuck in the green, you can't use your ammo while you're trying to get back into the red. Cooldown and Barrel Stabilizer are the Machinist level 62 and 66 skills respectively, and they were added to control your heat. Cooldown reduces your heat by 25, but deals increased damage when you're above 50 heat. Barrel Stabilizer sets your heat gauge to 50. Simple. Additionally, at level 64, you unlock the heated versions of your main combo: Heated Split Shot, Slug Shot, and Clean Shot. The heated versions of your weapon skills deal increased damage, but are only available when your heat gauge is at 50 or above, or your Gauss Barrel is overheated. And with that said, I think you understand what Machinist is supposed to do. It's not the most complicated system in the world, but trying to stay in the sweet spot and only overheating your barrel when you need a quick burst of extra damage is a tried and true gameplay loop that feels good once it's coupled with the mechanics of a dungeon. But with that said, we're back to square one. Overheating isn't valuable. Turret Overdrive is a fun ability that causes your turrets to self-destruct for a big burst of damage. Unfortunately, after overdriving a turret, no turrets can be deployed for 30 seconds. This is an interesting concept, but again, it's one that needs to go back to the drawing board at the Skysteel manufactory. It suffers from the same problem as overheating. Unless it's used as a finishing move, it's a detriment. Finally, Flamethrower is a channeled ability that deals damage in a cone in front of you for 10 seconds and generates heat while channeling. It's another heat management tool that looks amazing but performs like a lighter and a bottle of hairspray. But ignoring its poor performance for the moment, it's great for dealing with large packs of enemies, or in a single target situation, you can use it to get your heat from 0 to 50 in a few seconds. So essentially, the Stormblood Machinist changes have left us with a handful of new toys that look amazing, but they break apart and don't really work that well, and there's no return policy. We can't take it back to the store to exchange it for something different. It's a tough situation to be in, especially if the Machinist is your main class. You want to play it because it's a lot of fun, and like I've said before, the changes are pretty damn cool. I'll ask you a question: what is more awesome than a flamethrower? The answer is absolutely nothing. But the problem is that the Machinist flamethrower is not very strong. It's a similar situation to the Warrior, which is my main class. Every once in a while I'll join a party finder for Susano Extreme and I'll say, "Hey guys, what's up?" And they'll say, "You're not a paladin, get the fuck out." And they'll kick me from the group and I'll be left scratching my head with Susano's War Axe. My point is, even though the Machinist is underperforming, it is more than capable of assisting in clearing all of the content in the game, so if it is your favorite job, then don't stop playing it, but Maybe meld some materia onto your gear so you can push your damage a little bit higher. On that slightly sour note, the name of the game is Final Fantasy XIV, the name of the channel is iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment, because for a YouTube content creator, comments are like protein. They make us big, strong, and a little bit gassy. Also, there's going to be more Final Fantasy XIV content later this week. We are going to talk about the new skills added to the ninja. So if that's exciting, stay tuned for more. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.